From Little League to the big leagues and everywhere in between. From one stage to another. Passion is my middle name. I'm J.J. Davis. This is In Focus. Full disclosure. Now, methinks me knew this young lady when she was a then defensive specialist for the Bellevue East girls basketball team way back when. Of course, I was the sports director of KPTM Fox 42. Fast forward a little bit later, she was a student at Iowa Western Community College. And now, well, let's let her tell it. Not live from a production truck, not live on location, but sitting right next to yours truly, Krystal Gonzalez-Hirko.
Hi.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, no.
Why?
Life has just been crazy. I think if we go back to when we first met to where I am now, life is just, it's so different.
Well, what's the production company and what's your title? Car Hughes Productions?
Yeah, I work for Car Hughes Productions. I'm a full-time production manager. So I handle all of our crewing of all of our sporting events. And then I work with Fox as an operations manager for college hoops. Still freelance when I can. So I stay pretty busy.
That's right. When it comes to freelance, I looked at her bio. It says, Krystal has extensive experience in live freelancing from the Olympic trials to the Super Bowl to the Kentucky Derby and more, correct?
Yeah, I just did my second Super Bowl, which was really, it was cool to go from the first Super Bowl I was at 4 years ago. I was a runner.
Right.
To this time I was in charge of the runners. So my job just totally changed. And it's been really neat to see everything come to fruition. And sometimes I have to take a beat and step back and be like, whoa, this is my job. It's not awful.
What was your job as a little kid? What did you do? Where did you grow up? Did you play sports, etc.?
You know, when I was really little, I played soccer for years. I played basketball for a really long time. I was no good. Don't get me wrong, JJ. I was no good. I made the team. I warmed the bench. I was there. But I was not much of an athlete. I quit soccer because I kept getting hit in the face. Basketball, I just liked I liked the sport itself. I liked the team aspect of it. I liked the sound of the shoes and the ball. And basketball has just always been my favorite.
And you were the defensive specialist, as I said. At least that's what you told me years ago.
Yeah,
it was your
what
job to be the key defender.
Yeah, it was when I was in for the 1.5 minutes a game. So it was good. I was there. I played the reserve team really well. You know, yeah, it was just... basketball was it for me, and it just became something that I really, really enjoyed. It just I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Well, I think we can all say that. Did you know way back then that you knew what you wanted to do, or were you like most young people, nobody knows?
No, I don't think I knew, and I think that's why it took me a long time. You know, I had Brooklyn, my daughter, very young when I was 22, and once I had her, I'm like, man, I should really do something. I can't bartend and be a waitress my entire life, which is what I did from the moment I turned 15. I was working at Ruby Tuesdays and then Buffalo Wild Wings for way too long. And a person should not work at Buffalo Wild Wings as long as I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings. And, you know, I just knew that I wanted to do something more, but I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And it took a conversation with my daughter's dad. We sat down and he was like, well, what could you do every day? What could you deal with every day? What do you like? What's something that's in your everyday life? And I was like, I really like sports. And that was the gist of it. And when I signed up to go to Iowa Western at 23 years old, a new-time mom, I was like, okay, I'm going to be in front of the camera. I'm going to crush it. Lights, camera, action.
I remember you telling me that. She told me that.
And then once I got to Iowa Western and started learning all the things going on, I no longer wanted to be in front of the camera. Wow. It was all the stuff going on behind it that really just, I liked it.
I was going to say, what impressed you about it?
I think that I went to Iowa Western at the right time. I think the tools that were there, just everything. I could take a camera out and go shoot and edit and do everything myself. And I think just the tools that I was given and the things that I was taught by you and others, and just being the only woman there at that time, because I don't think there was very many women in the program either. So I was the older one. I was the mom.
Right.
I was surrounded by 17 and 18-year-old
Right.
guys.
Right.
And I don't know. I think I just liked it all. I don't know.
All right. So then you, graduate 2016, but during that time, you became a runner. I used to see you when I was a handout guy at Creighton basketball games. You started running, a grip, as we say. Then you became the stage manager. Continue.
Yeah, so you have to start somewhere, and
Right.
a runner is kind of, your first step in. You're making coffee and copies and always doing all the things that nobody
Yes.
wants to do.
The grunt work.
Yeah, and it was fine. I liked it, and I was good at it. I'm really good at taking direction if someone's paying me to do so. And so I liked it, and I networked and I talked nonstop. I
remember.
wanted to meet people.
I remember.
I'm still talking. I've been talking for 20 minutes straight. And I just was like, okay, this is my time to kind of feel everything out. What do I want to do? But then the next step, obviously, you start coiling cables and grip, and then you want to be a utility, and then what's next? Do I want to run camera? No, I knew I didn't want to do that. Do I want to be audio? No, I knew I didn't want to do that. Video? No. There was just so many things. I wanted to be in the truck, but what role did I want? So then ADing became.
I remember you called me. You were really nervous about ADing one holiday season.
Because I AD'd for Carol Langley, sweet Carol Langley with Fox. She's it. And I was terrified because I knew how she liked everything, and people were like, Carol likes her things a certain way. Terrified, palm sweat the whole time. And she, to this day, I have an email that's saved on my desk. It's hanging on my wall, and it's her telling me everything I did wrong.
That brings back a memory. When yours truly was at ABC Sports way back in 1980, we did a football game in Spokane, Washington, and I'm in the truck, and I'm supposed to do graphics. So the game's a blowout. San Jose State, Washington State. And I'm supposed to build graphics, lower thirds of all the scores from that day's games around the country. And we hadn't built many. And I can still hear Eleanor Rieger, one of the original sports producers at network television, yelling in my ear, "Where the blank are the scores?" And I just remember being, oh my God, so I can relate.
I mean, I was terrified. I knew I was doing everything wrong, but it's like you fake it till you make it,
Yes.
right? But there's some things that I was texting Brad Pace on the side,
Yes.
Brad, this is what they're asking for. I don't know what that means. And he's like, Krystal, just do this. And it was, at the end of it, she's like, okay, did you track music? When did we sell this? What are the sell times for this? What's the total run time for this? When did promo 2 go out? And I was like, I didn't keep track of any of that. And she was like, what are you here for? It's fine. I'll just rewatch the whole game myself. And
See, so people don't realize what goes on inside the truck during a live sporting event. Yours truly kind of has a clue because I've done a little bit of it and worked at ABC and all that stuff. But you're really right on the front lines.
Yeah, and I've been learning and growing and just kind of taking opportunities as they come. I don't know if I saw myself going into the production management role, but that's where I landed.
Do you feel like you found your calling?
Yeah, I feel like I'm really good at what I do. I feel comfortable. I enjoy my job for the most part. I think jobs are jobs, right? Everybody has things that they don't like about it.
But you gotta like it, Krystal. You gotta like it.
I'm not waiting tables, and as much as I was good at that and I loved it, and it served its purpose. I made money.
But too many people lead a life of quiet desperation. They live one life, but they'd rather live another. You're not doing that.
No, I think that it's super important, to show my kids that no matter where you're at or the circumstances you're given, you can always be the better statistic.
All right.
I think there was a lot of things stacked against me, and I like where
Give me the day in a life of a production manager.
Oh boy. Well, I work from home, so it's not terrible. Every day I wake up, little man gets up, We do our morning thing. If I have my daughter.
Mom first.
Mom
First and
first,
always.
yep.
Toughest job in the world.
Yeah, it's the most thankless job in the world, let me tell you.
Probably true.
So we get the kids ready, kids go to school, drop them off, and then I'm home, and usually my first meetings are starting about 9 o'clock, and it's just, all of my company is up in New York, so everybody is an hour ahead of me. Sometimes my phone starts dinging at 5 in the morning, and it's, it's crewing, it's trying to find the right fit for right shows. Sometimes we're bidding shows and we get a show that day, we're throwing budgets together, so it's, every day is different.
Now, when Krystal says crewing, she means hiring camera people, production personnel for these said sports broadcasts, correct?
Yeah, so our company is a little bit different than others, but yeah, I hire everything from the runner all the way up to our ADs, our producers, directors, camera guys, video, audio.
Now, when I was at ABC Sports, I used to have a list of the runners from the certain towns, et cetera, et cetera. Have you composed one of those?
Oh, yes, I have a database that's quite large. It's quite intensive. There's a lot of notes.
What about when you go on location?
That to me is my favorite time. I love being on site. When I'm on site, I'm essentially the boss. I'm making sure people are there when they need to be there. They're not charging me missed meals because I gave you a meal. It's time to take your lunch, guy,
Tough.
But no, I like being there, It's the hurry up and wait effect. Sometimes things aren't on fire till right before we're about to go on air, and my talent doesn't have audio in the booth, and it's just a mess. And then we figure it out, 3, 2, 1, we're on.
But as you know, as I like to say, that's the way it usually works.
Yeah. So I like being on site. I like working in live production. I don't think I would like doing film or anything like that, like doing the same thing over and over. No, I like the fact that 3, 2, 1, we're on air. If we mess up, we mess up, and then we're done. Oh wait, it's time to go off. We're off. Okay,
And
everybody clean
it's
up.
live television.
Yeah.
That's because I think you're always looking for the perfect show, but we never get the perfect show.
Never. It never goes. Nothing ever goes the way you want it to. And in life, let alone definitely.
All right,
in
quickly,
live podcast.
give me another story. You talked about one. Give me another story that kind of sums up what you do.
Oh man, appropriate for television.
Or what's the most recent event you just came from?
What's today? I'm gearing up to go to the Crown. I go to the Crown in Vegas in a few weeks. So I'm going to go do basketball. Creighton made it, so that'll be fun. I'll get to see Coach Mack again. I just got back from, what did I do last? I don't know. I was at the Super Bowl for way too long. I think I was there for 15 days. Came home and had to take like a 48-hour reset. That was crazy. The fact that I sat and had a 20-minute conversation with Reggie Miller on Super Bowl Sunday while watching the game was just, it's one of those things you just don't expect.
Or when she worked the other Super Bowl, 4 years ago, she was in love with Drew Brees. She got to see Drew Brees. He was her dream quarterback, so to speak. Now, if someone would have told you years ago when you were in high school, maybe even younger, right now I'm a blank, little did I know that later in my life I'd be a blank. Finish that. Fill in the blanks.
Oh.
Come on, we got time. You're a production manager. Let's go.
I think that if someone would have told me I would have been a mom, I think I wouldn't have believed them. I think that to me is my biggest.
It is.
That's it.
It is.
But the fact that I'm able to give my kids a lot of what I didn't have, I think that's my biggest, that's my thing. If somebody would have told me that my kids were happy and healthy and I was doing great as a mom, good.
That's wonderful. You get me emotional. And you're around sports.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I started liking sports strictly to impress this guy named Mike. I'm telling you, I've been a Lakers fan since I was a kid.
Yes, he's been a Lakers fan. Lakers.
In middle school, I would watch ESPN before going to school because I wanted to impress this boy. So I would watch it for 30 minutes before I went to school. And then at lunch, I'd be like, hey, did you know this person got traded? And so thank you, Mike Pettit, in middle school, because you were the reason I wanted to.
Well, thank you, Krystal Hirko.
Yeah.
Gonzalez-Hirko. I knew her way back when. I didn't know she just played 90 seconds. I thought she was a regular. Thanks for joining me.
I was regular there.
Well, thanks for joining me today. Coming up next, from a different kind of stage, from the sports field and arena to the theater, after the break. This woman has more talent in her little finger than I have my whole body. It's the truth. We first met at a Halloween costume party a few years back at Iowa Western. It was for employees only. She came in as Cruella. Freaking killed it. Won top prize, easy. Joining me right now, under the spotlight, as yours truly likes to say, is the esteemed actress, digital media entrepreneur, drag performer, Chanel Savage. Does that about cover it?
Yeah, I think it does.
Do you remember that costume party?
I do.
You were great. You came and I interviewed you and everything. You were fab.
And I had a lot of fun, and it was a lot of teamwork because I think the whole kitchen staff was involved. They were all Dalmatians.
That's right. And you were Cruella.
Yeah.
Now, there's a quote attributed to you. You said, "I'm very comfortable with a song and a dance and a skip and a jump." Explain.
I have always just found it delightful to be involved in musical theater. I'm very comfortable in musical theater. I started as a dancer in high school, and then I went off to sing and dance at resorts and amusement parks.
But where does this start when you're a kid in Omaha? Where does it begin?
Oh, I was singing and dancing for my family all the time. At every family get together, I would dance in the living room, show them the newest steps from the music videos, or sing the hottest song on the radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you get your voice from, your chops?
I got my voice from my mother.
Oh,
My mother was a singer. She sang in her high school career, was a part of a glee club, and she was a cheerleader. And then she went on to do a lot of singing for family events and things like that. And I remember seeing her sing Whitney Houston. And I was like, oh, my mother's Whitney Houston. I'm destined to be a singer.
It had to warm your heart to see your mother and then for your mom to see you.
Yeah. I remember the first time she found out that I enjoyed singing. I had got a little recorder for Christmas, and I put a bunch of cassette tapes together and recorded myself singing all the Disney songs and everything I could find. And she was getting ready for some event, maybe to go to work or to go out.
Right.
And she put one of my cassette tapes in the player, thinking it would be like something from the radio. And it was me singing.
Wow. What about the fear, though? The fear, overcoming fear.
I know fear is just a natural part of the process. I don't think you can overcome it. I think you learn to use it to help you get over the hump of being afraid to be you on stage, or get out of your
head. Get out of your own head is what I like to say. Because yours truly, I can never get out of my head. I'm always thinking way too much. Omaha Northwest High School, did you perform in shows?
I did. As I said, I started out as a dancer, so I was on a dance team called the High Steppers, and we would perform at pep rallies and basketball games.
Well, I'm talking theater.
And then one day, one of the practices got canceled, and I heard people singing in the auditorium, and I was stuck at school because I didn't drive. And I just went peeking in, and they were auditioning for Once on This Island.
Oh my gosh.
And some of my friends were there, and they were like, come get it in, come sing. And I did, and I got in, and the rest is history.
Well, history took you, or wanted to take you, to New York.
It did. I performed in New York for 3 years, doing like resort work and amusement park work, and I did a lot of auditioning.
And you got accepted, you told me.
Into AMDA. They call it a conservatory of the arts.
Chanel.
You don't graduate with a degree, you get a certificate saying you were trained by professionals. I unfortunately did not get to go because I did not have the money to attend AMDA, but I am honored to have gotten accepted.
That had to kill you, because that's a dream for most people. That had to kill you.
I had a friend from high school that went, and he's still out there, still auditioning.
Little envious, little jealous?
Everybody has a path, and I think I'm doing the right thing on mine.
Well, your path keeps you here in Omaha.
For now.
Omaha, right, for now. Omaha Community Playhouse, the MC, El Donza, The Witch. I mean, you've won many, many, many awards. Do they mean anything to you, or you just like to perform?
They mean the world to me, but they're not the reason I perform. I
Right.
don't perform to win awards. I
Right.
perform because of the love and the passion I have.
Well, I used to say when it comes to television and even performing, I don't do it to be on TV. I do it performing for love of the game. I enjoy the process. What's your process?
Oh, my process is doing as much research for the part
Right.
as I can.
Right.
Back when I was younger, I used to audition for everything.
Right.
Anything that had singing and dancing in it, I was like, let me do it. And now that I am a more mature actor, I'm looking for roles that are right for me, or roles that are going to challenge me. And yeah, I do as much research as I can, and then I figure out what I want to use, material I want to use for
Right.
my audition,
Right.
and then I go for it.
But you know, and I know audition roles are about choices. And sometimes you make the right choice, and most recently, yours truly made the wrong choice. But you have to live with it. It's about choices, right?
It's trial and error. I mean, I have fortunate enough to have gone to school and learned my vocals and what my strengths are as a singer.
Right.
And then when I was taking acting classes, I remember one of my teachers told me that I have a commanding presence, that when I walk into a room that I'm definitely noticed.
You do. You
So
do.
at that point, I was told I would play a lot of villains and people of authority.
Right.
And I mean, I haven't played too many villains, but I've played a lot of authority.
Well, one of your favorite roles, or in fact, what is your most favorite role?
Kinky Boots.
That's right.
Kinky Boots is my all-time favorite. I had such an amazing time doing that show, and the cast was incredible. But I also really, really enjoyed doing the recent play that I did with Randall and Voices of in Alliance.
Well, let's get back to Kinky Boots. Your shoes can help one on one's journey, but only your heart can choose the path.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, you have to do what you have to do to be noticed. And a good heel, don't look at my feet right now. A good
That's
heel.
right. Sex is in the heels. Sex is in the heels.
I'm
That's a line
wearing
from Kinky Boots.
flip-flops
All right.
right
Well,
now.
right. Right.
You want to do what you need to do to be noticed. And you got to present yourself in the best light. And definitely a very eye-catching shoe will help you. But it's the passion and the love of what you're doing. And if you're truly connected to it, you'll strive.
But I've always felt when I've seen you at Iowa Western, there's this quiet confidence that you carry, let alone charisma, because as soon as you walk in, bang, you see you. But you carry yourself a quiet confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I've matured. I was loud and out there when I was younger, and now that I've grown up, I realize you don't have to be loud to be noticed. You just need to know who you are. And I've spent a lot of time figuring that out, and I'm still figuring it out, but I'm very confident in who I am today.
And you're finding out who you are through Voices in Alliance. Your first show, The Inheritance, and that leads to another show, Charm, The Journey.
Oh, Charm was such an amazing experience because I did not want to do the show at first. Randall, the director,
That's right, Randall Stevens.
he was adamant that I was a part of that project. And he came to me and told me, this role is for you. Please read this script. And I read it, and then I told Randall, I was like, Randall, this woman is 67 years old.
That's right. That's right. Right.
I am not 67 years old.
That's
and
right.
he was like, no, but this woman, she possesses everything that you possess. He was like, Chanel, when you speak, people listen.
That's right, Chanel.
When you are present, people pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth, and you have a very warm and comforting way about you. And he was like, reread that script and see the ways, instead of the age, look at the ways that this woman connects with who you are. And when I reread it, he was right. It was perfect.
What'd you say to yourself?
I said to myself, you know what, let's go. Even though I was terrified, I said, this is going to be an experience that I'm sure I would not.
But you've also said it's a challenge as an actor, to take up roles that might not be you, or even in some cases make you a little bit uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Like I said, prefer to sing and dance. And this was all acting. And it got very dramatic. And I mean, I'm good with a good comedy, and there were some very funny lines, but there was some very serious, heavy material in this. And it opened my eyes to life. Like, I lived a lot of life in the process. And man, it definitely.
I'm sitting here across from you, and you emanate life. You emanate energy. And a lot of it, you could say, began at the Midwest Theater Conference. You were asked to perchance play a trans character, and you said,
I was a little shocked at first, because at that point in my life, I identified as male.
right.
I identified as a gay male, but I was male, and I did not really think that I was the right person for this character. But I said yes, and it was powerful. And it, like I said, it opened my eyes to things about myself and how comfortable I was playing the character.
Right.
And yeah.
Did it make you feel more comfortable in yourself, who you are, who you want to become?
It definitely it opened my eyes to things. At that point, I wouldn't say I was truly comfortable. I would say that I left that project and asked myself questions about why was it comfortable at times?
Right.
Why did I respond to this the way I did? And I think I found that out.
Do you feel freer?
Freer in what aspect? In life?
Who you are, who you have become, who you are evolving into.
I definitely feel freer in life with the choices I've made to be in my transition. As an actor, not so much.
Why?
I feel like as an actor in the theater world, in any world, as a performer, it's hard for a woman. And I think it's even that much harder for a trans woman, because there's not many roles written for trans identity. And I want to be seen as a woman, but I still have to battle with the fact that I'm still genetically built, or I was born male. So I'm going to be broader shouldered and like more dominant presence on stage than a natural born woman. And I have to struggle with that.
Well, that kind of breaks my heart, because I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
I think even just through this, one can sense your soul and your heart.
Thank you.
And I know I have. And again, I want to thank you for coming on, Chanel.
Thank
you. Look fab. I look forward to hearing and seeing about your future. And as always, I like to say, thanks for joining us for this latest edition of In Focus. We've had two wonderful women on today for the latest edition of In Focus. As I like to say, Chanel, I'm J.J. Davis. And as always, I'll see you around town.